Hey everybody, good morning. So let's go ahead and get started, child. I'm having some sound technical difficulties. I'm trying to enhance the sound so that I can sound more clear. I really need to be worried about this glitching, child, because TikTok Live be glitching me, especially on the replays, and I don't like it. But anyways, hey y'all, happy Saturday. Welcome to Saturday Morning Support Groups for Moms. I am your hostess with the mostest, Brooklyn with 2 N's. And thank you for showing up. Thank you for coming out. Thank you to everybody that, was patient with me while we figured out sound, etc. So let's talk today about us moms, our relationships with our mothers. And I know I talk a lot about moms, like us taking care of ourselves, us taking care of our children, advocating for different ways that we can show up and show out for our kids, making sure that they get the most out of their upbringing. But we haven't talked about our relationships with our mothers. And for some people, that can be a very difficult topic. Some people, they don't even want to address it, touch it, think about it. Other people, it's like, oh, my mom is my best friend. I love her. That's my girl. And then there are some people who, what's to say, So today, let's just get into it, child. So y'all know I'm a school counselor and a clinical mental health counselor here in Atlanta. But I see clients, and there was one client I saw this week, and she was talking, and it's interesting because I noticed session 2. I've been seeing her almost a year now, but I've noticed since session 2, your mom is a really huge trigger for you. Like, your anxiety is through the roof, and it seems like you're fine, you're mellow. Like, sometimes you'll trigger yourself. Sometimes you will have yourself thinking about wild stuff on crazy rants, etc. But your mama, whenever she comes around, something happens to where it just seems like chaos. Like she's really triggering you. Like you panic mode. Like you kind of have a mini panic attack whenever your mom comes around. So we unpacked that. But it wasn't until this past week where she was like, no, my childhood was like this, my upbringing was like that. And these are things that she just naturally brought out. And I'm wondering how many of us, when we sit back and we think about our ways, and we sit back and we think about the things that we do, our habits, how much of that is because of our mothers? How much of that is because of things that they said to us that doesn't really leave us? Like that's that nagging voice in our head, or maybe a critical voice, or maybe a soft, gentle voice. But how many of us have our moms in our self-conscious? And I'll take it a step further. How many of us, when we are around our moms and we are spending time with our moms, we notice a feeling within us? We notice some things change, some things shift. What are those things? What does that feel like? What does that look like? Do our mothers respect our autonomy as mothers? Because that's another thing too. I know some moms who had kids younger and they felt like, I'm the mama here. Yeah, I still live at home with my mama, but I'm the mother of this child, and my mom is trying to also be the mother of this child and me, and it's not right. It's not fair. That happens when your mom still considers you a child or considers you her responsibility, right? Or like I said with that client, your mom was very nitpicky about every little thing. So now you as a mom, you're nitpicky about everything. Or even you as a person, you're nitpicky about everything. Or maybe your mom was like calm and free and didn't really nag or really didn't do too much, but she worked a lot. She was gone a lot. She had a life. So she wasn't there. So you had to do something in that absence. There was a void that you had to fill some sort of way. How did you feel it? What changed? What happened? And then what's your relationship like with your mom, especially if she was not as available and present as you may have liked? These are things that I would like for us to consider, moms, because parenthood can be a cycle. They ain't talking about generational curses just cause. Like, it's not somebody just put a hex on us. No, these things are happening because if we don't wake up and we don't pay attention to what's going on, eventually we're going to keep cycles and habits going. And then your kid is going to be mad, complaining about the same thing you was complaining about, that your mama was complaining about, that her mama was complaining about. So at what point do we sit back and we say, you know what, Mom, let me tell you about my experience of you. That can be dangerous. For some people, that can really be dangerous. For some of us, it can just be scary because we don't know how that could go. Some of us, we just know our mamas and we just know how it's gonna go, and we just are avoiding that. We don't want that. We don't want whatever that is, whatever that looks like. But I am encouraging all of us, especially moms. You getting a good stride at motherhood. You kind of, are finding your place again. Because, like when we're pregnant and then we have the kids, we're like trying to find ourselves again. I feel like we spend years trying to find ourselves again. And that version of us is like not coming back ever again. But anyways, you understand what I'm saying, right? So when you get close to finding yourself again, or when you get your footing, when you get your grounding, when postpartum has kind of like cleared the air, at what point do you recognize I am a different woman because I am a mother now? And then you begin to see your mother as a different woman. And then you go and you have conversations as a woman with your mother, who is also a woman. And y'all talk about maybe her childhood, her upbringing, her experiences, her shame, what shaped and molded her, what dreams she had to give up on for you, what sacrifices she had to make for you and your siblings. And some of us probably feel like, man, my mama ain't did nothing. Ain't no sacrifice. She ain't did this. She ain't did that. We don't know. You will have to ask. You will have to see. Right? And then for us to be able to say, hey, yeah, this is my experience. Now, some people, you might need a mediator. You might need a counselor. You might need a neutral party in between you and your mother to have this sort of conversation. Some people, this conversation may take days. It may be a blow up and then a cleanup and then an understanding. Some people, y'all just may not be able to have the talk. And my heart goes out to those who no longer have mothers. My heart goes out to those who don't know what it's like to have a mom. Like either they passed away or they just never were present. Like somebody else was raising them. Somebody else was responsible for them. That, I feel like we call everything trauma, but it is. Grieving the loss of your mom, that can be traumatic. Never really having a mom, having a relationship with a mom, that can be traumatic. So maybe even looking into that and how that's shaped you and how that's molded you. I was having a conversation with somebody the other day and we were talking and I was like, yeah, I don't know if you know it or not, but whenever a child isn't with their biological mother within that whole first year, there's something traumatizing that happens. That child begins to bonding, like that bonding. Babies need to bond with their mothers to be developed, to be shaped, to be molded, to come into this world inside of this person, and then to come out into this whole world. And the very thing that you grew inside of is now gone. Do you know how traumatic that can be? That's why, like they say, skin to skin, chest to chest, breastfeeding, all of these different things, these different tools that they say, cuddling your child, talking to them, reading to them, singing it, like all of those different forms of bonding is to help soothe and transition your child into the world. Can you imagine being inside, hearing, feeling, having this connection, and then it's gone? And you're an infant. You're 3 months, 4 months, 5 months. You're 9 months, 10 months, right? That is so traumatic. In the counseling world, we call it an ACEs effect. That is an adverse reaction. That is an adverse crisis. That is an adverse experience. And that alone may be something that you would have to unpack. Not saying, moms that have to go to work and moms that have to provide, you're not bad for that. I don't ever want you to think that you're a bad mom because you're trying to make a better life for your kids. All I'm saying is, good for you for having that hustle to provide, but just consider what that might be doing for your child, the type of effects that they may have. And I really wish that we could live in a world where we could be able to provide for our kids without, like, why is money tied to time? I really hate how money is tied to time. Like, you have to go spend this time doing this thing in order to get this amount of money to provide the type of lifestyle that you would like to provide. Even celebrities, like, they got a lot of money, but they not raising their kids. How traumatic is that for those kids? Like, I've been with you. I grew inside of you and now you're gone. Like, I long for you. I want to be with you. Like, nobody knows me like you and now you're gone. It's something to consider. And if that was your experience with your mother, like I said, it's time to have a conversation, but also consider too, is this a conversation your kids will one day have to have with you? Because it's one thing for us to talk to our mothers about our childhoods and our experiences of them, and even understand their childhood and their life experiences. Like, oh, dang, you was the girl in high school that was, oh, wow. So that was you. Like, having those types of conversations with your mama where you can finally like see, like, oh no, this isn't my mom, this cooking, cleaning woman. No, she was like out here living. Like, my mama was at Freaknik, get to it. Like, to have those thoughts, to have those experiences. Oh, you went to college and you was doing this, or you was real standoffish and you was mean then, like you was curving dudes. Oh, you was a baddie then, or you always had issues. You always had problems. You always had stuff going on. You didn't stand a chance. There's no way I could have ever stood a chance. It's time for us to have those real heart-to-hearts. And I'm going to emphasize, there's going to come a day where your child is going to want to have that heart-to-heart as well. I was talking to another client, and her issue is her daughter is so closed off, so quiet, don't really open up to her. And she's like, well, what do I do? Because I'm available, I'm open, and I'm here for her. And I was telling her, I know you, and you're very short. You don't really have emotional availability. Your capacity to hear things about yourself or to accept softness, crybaby stuff, it's not there. So if your child come crying to you talking about, Mom, I felt like you were never there for me, you're not going to respond with, tell me more. What was that like for you? You going to respond with, well, what you want me to do? I had to do this. I had to do that. Y'all always complain about this. Y'all always complain about that. So guess what the child is not going to do? Come to you and talk to you and confide in you. So she then asked the question, so what is softness? Which was a really good question, because I hear this a lot. Like, now this is a trend that I really love. Like, I endorse it. I stamp it. I approve it. I don't endorse it, but I stamp it. I approve it. I love how Black women are getting to a place where we are entering our soft girl era, and we are relaxing those superhero capes, and we are doing something else with our time. We are waking up and we are becoming more in tune with our own emotions and our own selves. And we are being able to advocate for our own needs and ourselves, right? As we continue to do that, we have to wonder, when people say softness, what does that look like? Because even if you're in a relationship with a man, he probably is like, I just want a soft woman. Like, I want to come home and dinner is ready and she's not complaining about her day, and be able to just relax and chill and just be. So I'll tell you, Softness is not something that you can force yourself to do. There has got to be something inside of you that's already there, that's already genuine, that's already just what you're rooted in. So if you're somebody, you find problems in everything, like this is a problem. Like you steadily overcoming issues, you're steadily overcoming problems. You're highly critical, you're highly judgmental. Your thoughts, your mind is restless. There is no peace within. You're not going to be a soft woman. You're not going to be a soft mom. You're not going to be a soft wife, girlfriend, etc. You have got to be rooted in peace. You have got to be grounded in peace to even become soft. And a great example of that, if you work at a chaotic job, you work somewhere where you're not being appreciated, where you're not being seen, where your ideas are not being heard, where you just going to get a check, and you're there for 8 hours a day. When you come home, there's no way you're going to be soft. There is no way you're going to have a negative experience for hours on end every day and then come home and be soft. It's not going to happen. So at some point, we have got to say, how can I readjust my life so that I can have peace? And listen, I'm going to be honest with you. God has been so good. God has allowed me to have that shift. But financially, I am hurting. And people, and here's the funny thing. All 2025, I kept hearing, all money ain't good money. Like I every single time, it'll be something random. It don't matter what we talking about. And people be like, all money ain't good money. And I really had to take that, and I really had to receive that, and I had to sit on that, because my trauma was not having enough growing up. Not being able to wear the things that the people was wearing and have, like, my most basic needs were fulfilled. Anything after that, and it sucks because we can have those feelings, but we can't take it to our mothers because we don't want them to feel any shame, or we don't want them to feel any kind of way. And if that's your case, express that to your mom. Hey, mom, I think you did an amazing job. I think you did this good, that good. I just, wish that we could have did this. Wish that we could have had that. I know some kids, their parents was sending them in all the designer, everything. Mamas had them dressed to the nines. The most of the popular kids, like, had it, right? At least on the outside looking in, they look like they got the perfect, like, everything going on. Their mama was not there. Their mama was working. Their mama was busy, booked and busy, right? You can have a lot of stuff. Your bills can be paid. You can be barely making it. You can be comfortable. But if you don't have peace, you don't have quality of life. Stuff sometimes can be a threat to peace, especially because we're in a capitalist society where everything is go and get. This the new trend. Y'all got it. Y'all up on it. Y'all on speed. Like, this what we doing now. This what we doing now. This what we doing now. And you could be on the hamster wheel steady trying to relax. Find some peace. Take some breaths. Take a trip. Find your place. Find your people. Get your peace. So moms, especially my Black moms, especially my Black women out there, especially my single mamas, I pray village for your children so that you too can recoup. I pray for peace. God's perfect peace will meet you wherever you are and just surround you and fill you up into the overflow. There is nothing like rest. I had one mama, Her mom abandoned her, and everything is about she overextends herself. There are no boundaries. Her kids have complete access to her 24/7, and she is burnt out. And she is sad because she can't admit that she's burnt out. And she recognizes that she put herself in this place, but she don't want her kids to feel like how she felt. Her homework assignment on Saturday mornings or Sunday mornings, one of them, pick a day, you are not to leave your room until 12 o'clock. And you need a house meeting. Your kids are of age. So you got elementary, middle school, high school. They know. Mama needs time. You don't have to explain to them kids nothing. I need a minute. Don't you burn my house. Get somewhere, sit down, relax, but mama needs a minute. Moms, if you are helicopter moms, if you are attached at the hip, if you have no boundaries between you and your kids, if they have complete total access to you 24/7, first of all, I'm not saying that's a bad thing. For some people, that's a good thing. But are you doing that out of trauma? Is that because you were violated as a kid? Is that because you were not protected as a kid? So now you have to go above and beyond your protection means with your kids. These are things we have to start looking at. Were you sheltered? And now you went through a phase maybe where you went buck wild crazy. So now there are no limits for your kids. Your kids can go wherever, they can do whatever, they can hang with whoever. You're not checking. I'm telling y'all, either we act like our mamas or we rebel and we try to do something completely different. Either way it goes, no matter how perfect of a parent you are, your child gonna have a complaint. They gonna have a grievance with you. It don't matter what you do, they gonna have it. You're not gonna get it right. Especially if you're not doing what that individual child needs, which you're not. And don't even try to do it because you're gonna stretch yourself, you're gonna burn yourself out. It's something called Maslow's hierarchy of needs. The basic foundation is food, shelter, safety, and mental well-being. So making sure that when you speaking to your kids, you talking to them like you got some sense. You ain't cussing them like dogs in the street. You are able to recognize, oh, you're crying, you're sad. Let's figure out why you're sad. You know, you're acknowledging their emotions while acknowledging yours as well. Does that make sense? It's okay to say, Mommy had a bad day and I'm angry and I need some time to relax, to not be angry. Teach your kids that. Teach them how to live. You're crying, you're sad. You can be, when I tell you my doggone daughter crying for no reason drives me crazy, I am learning how to, hey, what is going on? Please stop that. Talk. What are you sad? Are you angry? Are you hurt? Let's learn how to give our kids language for their emotions. Safety. Are your kids afraid that something is going to happen? Is somebody putting their hands on you? Are you putting your hands on somebody? Are your kids seeing violence in the home? Are they seeing violence in the community? You may live in a really nice home, but round the corner is gunshots. Up the street is break-ins. They see the police all the time. They hear sirens all the time. And now they attribute sirens to trauma. So whenever they hear sirens, they rattle and frizzle. And you probably don't even know that. But do you know that? It's time to check in. So safety. Are they afraid somebody coming in the room? Are you in a relationship with somebody who is there a chance that your other children could be making your other children feel unsafe? Because that's a real thing. Y'all just don't know how many siblings I heard of to violate other siblings. That's a real thing. Or cousins or family members, etc. Do you and your kids have the type of relationship where such and such coming over to watch them, your child will tell you if they don't feel comfortable with such and such, if they don't feel safe with such and such, and if such and such really is out here violating? That's safety. Food. Can they eat a decent quality meal? Now, kids, kids would be like, man, I don't want no full course meal. I don't want no hot meal, man. Where the Takis at? where the candy? Where the snacks? Where the juice? Where the garbage at, right? Because I know that was us. Like, my mom and them be like, it's food in there. Y'all can cook. Y'all can eat, right? Whereas we was like, nah, we don't want that. We want the stuff we want. If you got food in your house and them kids are fed, good. And shelter. Y'all just don't know what steady shelter does for a kid, for an adult, just for us. Some of us, we may be so out of tune, like disconnected within ourselves, so we don't pick on really truly how we're experiencing things. And some of us, stuff just don't bother us. It's not that deep. it really ain't. Some of us are just more logical. Everything is up here. Sometimes that could be a little spectrum-y. Maybe something to consider. But then some of us are emotionally all over the place. Our emotions just take us everywhere. That could be a little personality. Something else. You know, everything is something nowadays. But seriously though, your kids need to be in the same house as long as they can throughout their childhood. All that moving and bouncing around, we stay with this person, we stay with that person, we stayed at the hotel, we stayed on such and such couch, we had this house, and then all that moving around, especially if a kid has to start over different schools, you just don't know how hard that can be for them to make connections with people. And you know what's interesting? Sometimes we may not be able to have conversations with our moms, but we could talk to her sisters. We could talk to the cousins. We could talk to the people who know our moms and will give us a full picture story. Now, you got some people that probably hated your mama. Like, your mama probably was black sheep of the family, and the other kids was, everybody loved the other kids. So whatever story they paint is going to have a little on it. But really have conversations and really get to know your mom. Because I think that may be the key to whatever freedom or healing or peace that you need. It may just be that. So I'm going to wrap up. So summary. I came on today and everything I do is for the moms. Moms, I really truly want us to be better. I want us to be whole. I want us to be free. I want us to have some peace so that we can raise these kids in a healthy, stable environment so that they can have better than what we had. Right? So sometimes in order to do that, we got to go back and look at our relationships with our mothers. And we have to figure out what happened. What was our mom's childhood like? What was her life like? And be open, not be closed off, not be shut in, not be tied up about it, but be open to whatever it is that your mom has to say. If your mom is here to say. Sometimes maybe that we're not ready for that yet. So we got to talk to other people to kind of understand our mom situations. Something about us millennials and us younger folks, like us, I'm a millennial. So our generation, maybe even the generation before us, we are feeling like, why we gotta be the ones? Because we are. We was chose. You either gonna answer the call and get what you need and keep on going, or you gonna stay stuck in why me? And nothing will change and nothing will get better. So sometimes it takes for us to have conversations with a therapist, a counselor, somebody to understand what we have going on so that we can develop a listening ear and then turn around and go and listen to our parents and figure out what they had going on. So we can better understand ourselves so that they can see us and we can see them. So that we can have a better relationship if there's a chance. Because for some people, your mama was wild for real. Like she really allowed some stuff to happen and that relationship is gone forever. And if your mother allowed trauma to happen to you and didn't do anything about it and your boundary is leaving her alone, I respect that. I respect that. If you ain't got nothing for her, I respect that. You got to listen, whatever's going to bring you peace at the end of the day. But for those of us who our moms are in our lives, they're a part of our village, have the conversation. If your mama love your kids and treat them kids so good, and sometimes you sit back and be like, girl, you was not doing this in the 90s. You was not on this in the 80s. You can talk to her. For the sake of them grandkids that she love, you can talk to her. You sure can. But yes, let's continue to find some peace and some relaxation. Let's continue to set healthy boundaries with our parents, with our children. Let's continue to evaluate, assess, look at ourselves, and steadily do something. I remember when I first had my daughter, when I was a young mom, I used to have like weekly check-ins with myself. Like, okay, how did I do this week? Did I yell too much? Did I nag too much? What? Because that was I got yelled at all the time. I got, so by habit, Sometimes the hardest thing to do is to go back and figure out why you are the way you are and have those uncomfortable conversations with the people who contributed to you being the way that you are, especially if you're hard on yourself and you're highly critical of yourself. That can be really, really hard to do. But the thing about that is once you go through it and get through it, child, it's better on the other side. Let me just say that. Yes, it's fire. Yes, you got to walk through it. But on the other side, though, to me, sometimes it almost feel like I never even got burned in the first place. So I'm praying for y'all. I love y'all. Moms, let's do the hard work of having real, genuine, true conversations with our mothers and being real, true, and honest with ourselves about what our experience of our mothers did to us, how it shaped us, how it molded us. And let's heal. Let's heal. Even if you had the perfect mother and everything was a dream come true, that may have did something to you. Let's unpack it. Get a therapist. Maybe talk about it one-on-one first and then talk to your parents. Maybe get a mediator. Maybe get the counselor, a neutral party, to sit in the middle of y'all to help y'all communicate what's going on. Because sometimes things can go real left, real far, and then y'all fighting and arguing. But it's better out than in. I would rather you, if you have the opportunity to have a genuine conversation with your mom in the land of the living, to do so instead of holding on to feelings and things that you really should have been let go of, because that's carrying over into your kids. So let's do better so we can be better and our kids can reap better and then also to be better. And then some of us, we got kids, no matter what we do, they just gonna act up. And that's when we gotta wonder what the daddy genes talking about. daddy fought again, child. What is the daddy jeans talking about, child? But I digress. Y'all take care. Thank you so much for tuning in. I will see y'all again, same time, same place. Saturday morning support group for moms, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. TikTok Live. Bye, y'all. Love you.